Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, Shady Cove is in a state of emergency tonight after a water pump failure. The latest details and what we know coming up. And Oregonians aren't responding positively to a roadmap to offshore wind energy. What Senator Ron Wyden has to say about it. We also have an update tonight on the grass fire off Interstate 5 near Ashland. We have the details right now on NewsWatch 12 at 6.
Watching out for you. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Shady Cove now in a state of emergency with hundreds without water. Officials say it's because of the failure of a Highland water intake pump. Thanks for joining us for NewsWatch 12 at 6. I'm Haley Gravitt. Residents are on their fourth day without access to water. Several residents of Shady Cove reached out to NewsWatch 12 over the last few days, saying they've been without water with little to no warning at all. Some locals saying they are leaning on each other while they wait for those updates from the city and Highland Water. NewsWatch 12's Leave column went to Shady Cove today to talk to residents and tell us what water customers can expect as this week wraps up.
Shady Cove is a tight-knit community in Jackson County, with some residents telling me today that's the only way they've been able to grapple with an ongoing water outage for parts of the city. Shady Cove's mayor declaring a state of emergency Thursday, with a failing water pump leaving about 300 Highland Water customers without water entirely and impacting almost 1,000 Jackson County residents. The county has activated its Emergency Operations Center, continuing to secure drinking water from community partners and the state. Residents pitching in to help each other out.
The water we got today, we're probably going to give to our neighbors that have a hard time getting down here, so we've been doing that too. They help us and we help them, so great neighborhood that we live in. Everybody's helping each other, so it's a wonderful thing.
Highland Water saying Thursday evening they are, quote, committed to meeting the needs of affected customers. I asked them today when the pump is set to be repaired, and am waiting for an answer. Those with water access are still being asked to pitch in by following a boil water advisory. Water use is limited to essential services like cooking and cleaning. Jackson County Fire District 4 will continue to give out water through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. or until full access is restored. In Shady Cove, Leave column, NewsWatch 12.
And the Bureau of Ocean Management has announced their plans to lease nearly 200,000 acres of Oregon's ocean for offshore windmills in October. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden trying to answer your questions. NewsWatch 12's Brinkley Hill has been tracking the situation on the coast for months now. Brinkley, all of this is to reach a clean energy goal. Can you explain how this will help do that?
Haley, the Oregon Department of Energy has said it wants to diversify Oregon's energy portfolio by creating a roadmap to have 3 gigawatts of offshore energy by 2030. But if fully developed, the 2 designated areas in Brookings and Coos Bay could reach the ODOE's goal, but only if the area is fully developed. The mayor of Brookings says the spot chosen in Brookings is not ideal.
There's environmental concerns, commercial fishing and the impact it'll have on that industry, our tourism, which our community obviously relies on heavily. How will that be impacted, with these monstrosities out in the ocean?
I asked Mayor Hodges if he had heard any positive feedback from the community. He told me,
not one.
With so many unanswered questions, I reached out to Oregon Senator Ron Wyden about if he thought BOEM's process has aligned with the state so far. Wyden said Oregonians living and working on the coast expect far better from federal agencies than to get steamrolled from 3,000 miles away on decisions directly affecting their livelihoods. I will pull out all the stops to make sure that Oregonians' legitimate concerns about this hasty decision and the run-up to it receive complete and acceptable responses before any project goes forward. The move to clean energy is essential in the face of climate crisis, but abrupt and deeply flawed edicts like this do nothing to advance that move and, in fact, hurt it. I've reached out to BOEM to try to get some of these unanswered questions solved, but they've not responded. I'll continue to follow the leasing process as bidding is set to start on October 15th. Brinkley Hill, NewsWatch 12.
Brinkley, thank you for continuing to track that. Onto the fire watch tonight. A grass fire erupted about 4 miles south of Ashland along Interstate 5 yesterday. The fire shut down southbound I-5 for multiple hours near exit 14. Level 2 and level 3 evacuations were issued for 2 zones near the fire. Oregon Department of Forestry and local units stopped forward progress at 13 acres. Level 2 evacuations are still in place for those 2 zones. The cause of this fire is still unknown. And checking in with the Copperfield fire this evening, the fire now 26% contained at 3,800 acres. The cause of this fire remains under investigation tonight. It has destroyed a total of 19 structures, including 8 homes. Over 600 personnel are on the fire, but Oregon State Fire Marshal will be demobilizing 2 task forces to return to their local fire departments. The remaining crews will continue to strengthen lines and extinguish hotspots. And there are still a number of evacuation notices in place for the fires seen here on your screen right now. The areas in red, KLU EO62A and KLU E063AD are under level 3 go now evacuations. There are also 3 separate level 2 be set evacuation notices and 7 level 1 get ready notices. You can see them here. For more information, you can head to our website, kdrv.com. Now let's check in on our fire watch forecast with Stormwatch 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress to see what these fire conditions are doing as far as air quality as well. Sarah.
Yeah, we're continuing to track air quality as we head through the next few days. That's been one of our main stories here. The air quality hasn't been too great the past few days. We've seen smoke and haze impact most of the region, but right now we are seeing moderate to unsafe for sensitive group air qualities across the region. Overnight, we'll continue to see some smoke settling down, especially into the Klamath Basin. So as we're waking up tomorrow morning, that's when we'll most likely see some worse air quality impacts heading into your morning. Now, tomorrow we're tracking the potential for thunderstorms across the region, but because of this, we do have a red flag warning issued from 1 p.m. tomorrow until 9 p.m. Now, we already have some pretty hot and dry conditions this week, and it's very dry heading into tomorrow. So with these thunderstorms, any strike of lightning can cause a fire, and there are going to be some very gusty outflows from this, about 50 miles per hour. But east of the Cascades isn't going to be the only place that has the potential to see a thunderstorm tomorrow. Now, the potential does exist pretty widespread, even into Jackson, Josephine counties tomorrow, down into Northern California. Now, these storms aren't going to be widespread, but the potential for these storms is pretty great, and with these we'll see mostly isolated storms and some traction tomorrow. We'll have more updates coming up in our full forecast. Haley.
Sarah, thank you. And we're also expecting high temperatures. Ashland's cooling shelter is open today. The shelter will be open today and tomorrow from noon to 7 p.m. The shelter is located at 2200 Ashland Street. It will have cool water and restrooms available. The weather shelter relies on volunteers to stay up and running. So if you're interested in volunteering, call this number you see here on your screen. And the Medford cooling shelter is also open today and Friday. The shelter is located at 324 West 6th Street. The shelter will be providing water, restrooms, and snacks. Individuals may come and go as they need. And the nonprofit Mint also has a cooling shelter open through the weekend in Grants Pass. It's open 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Parker's Place on Redwood Highway in front of Bi-Mart. And the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality is launching a new community air monitoring pilot program. The program is designed to empower communities to assess their local air quality and identify potential strategies to reduce their exposure to pollution. The program is supported by a U.S. Environmental Protection Agency grant, and the DEQ selected 4 communities from 200 applicants to participate. Medford and Chiloquin were among those selected. Over in Josephine County, a 41-year-old woman has been reported missing. The Josephine County Sheriff's Office is asking for assistance in locating Cameron Corson. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to call the number seen here on your screen. She was last seen September 4th near Harbick Road in Grants Pass. She is believed to have left on foot around 1 p.m. She is 5'8" with brown hair and brown eyes. Looking at a money alert this evening, over $6 million is coming to the Rogue Valley International Airport to improve taxiways, runways, and more. The federal grants secured by Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley come from the Federal Aviation Administration. The funds will be used to build 2 new taxiways and extend an existing one. The Prineville Airport is also receiving over $4 million for similar expansions. The improvements will reduce delays and ensure safe travels for residents and visitors alike. In a community impact story tonight, David's Chair is coming to Lithia Park next week. David's Chair is a nonprofit organization that provides electric all-terrain track chairs for people with mobility challenges to assess the great outdoors. The organization is debuting its first fixed site location in Southern Oregon to Lithia Park with a demonstration on September 18th. The Ashland Community Health Foundation provided the grant to purchase the chair for this program. David's chairs are free to use with reservations.
Now, your first forecast with meteorologist Sarah Kress.
And we're slowly starting to cool down in temperatures, but it's still pretty hot as we're heading into dinner time. We broke a record in Medford today. Our high was 105. But right now we're at 101 degrees, still 100 in Grants Pass. Cooler conditions along the coast, 61 in Brookings, and over on the east side, 93 in Klamath Falls. Now, a reminder for tomorrow, we still do have a heat advisory issued until 10 p.m. on your Friday. Just remember, if you are heading outside, to be aware of any heat-related illnesses. It's going to be hot, especially if you are in the sun. Now, tonight we will be cooling down pretty nice. We'll be seeing temperatures into the mid-60s over on the west side valleys, but on the east side, temperatures slightly warmer than usual to the upper 40s to the lower 50s tonight. We'll also see some clouds making their way through. Some fog tonight over in Brookings, already seeing that marine layer make its way in. Tomorrow we'll be heating up and tracking the potential for thunderstorms. We'll go into more detail about when and where you can be seeing this coming up in our full forecast. Haley?